Nice. Hello and welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with just Green White Maverick. So I have been trying out Green White Black Maverick pretty much since I intercepted the deck, but with a lot of players taking Green White on board and doing really well with it, especially Dan Neely, who I actually did an interview with on the greensunzenith.com. So if you want to check that out, definitely check that out. It's a pretty good read. Some pretty cool insights on the deck and just his success with it right now. I believe he has like a 55 to 12 win rate in May, which is pretty outstanding. So there's a small number of changes in the deck, so we don't have access to things like Thoughtseize or Zealous Persecution, Abrupt Decay, or Assassin's Trophy in the sideboard, but we do have answers in Council's Judgment, Banishing Light, a few different ways to deal with threats. The main deck consists of 2 Palace Jailers and a Thalia Heretic Cathar. Mainly wanted to check out Thalia because I think it's really good against Sneak and Show, and as I am testing against decks coming up for Ash the Gamer, welcome to the chat. As I am testing for Melbourne Eternal Weekend, especially for Legacy, I think there's going to be a lot of Sneak and Show. Sneak and Show's won the event for the last 3 years in a row, I believe, so I think Thalia is really good. Thalia is also really good against the Eldrazi decks and the Khan decks that are floating around. Making their mana come in tapped is a lot better, especially when I can try to drive one out on turn 1 or turn 2 through a Noble Hierarch or a Green Sun Dryad Arbor. This deck also features 2 Horizon Canopy, pretty much in place of the 2 black lands in Scrubland and Bayou in the Black Splash. Null Rod there is a 1 of. I kind of like it as a 2 of, but I'm just going to try it out and see how good it is against the Khan decks. It's a little bit of a no-go with our equipment package, but that's something that I'm willing to give up if it's going to be hitting my opponent a lot more and affecting their game plan a lot more. I've been really liking the 2 Sylvan Libraries in the main deck. Just the consistency of hitting them is really nice when you have 2 compared to 1. And with Palace Jailer in the deck as well. The one thing that I am scared about is True Name Nemesis. True Name Nemesis is a great card to deal with, to sort of steal the crown from me, which can be pretty annoying. Because against those decks, it can be pretty hard to get it back. But I'm just going to hope that we have the advantage against a lot of the decks, so we can just power out a bit of a wide strategy against True Name and get through those sort of blue-red variants that run it. Banishing Light there for Sneak and Show, and for sort of show and tell decks. It's also there for any Planeswalker decks like Miracles. It's quite solid. It's also quite good against Grixis Control, where once it's on the field, they can't really deal with it. Banishing Light's played over Oblivion Ring because it can only target your opponent's stuff. There's no shenanigans where if you target your opponent's permanent, they might sacrifice it or destroy it in response, and you have to target your own, which is nice. I'm down to 3 Mums. Mum's not been doing too much recently. There's a lot of Terminus online, a lot of True Name, and a lot of Eldrazi, so colorless doesn't really factor in. Once Giver of Runes is printed, it would be interesting to maybe try 1 over the 4th Mum, or maybe as a 5th Mum, but until then, I'm pretty happy with just the 3. 3 Thalia as well. I was getting too many caught in hand, and I think when we have Gaddock Teeg and a few other disruptive elements in the deck, it's fine to just run the 3. But that's pretty much it. We have a pretty good mana base compared to Black-Green, where we have the double ups on each basic, which is nice. Great against back to basics as well. But this is the deck. We'll see how it rolls. So I'm pretty happy just to go straight into a league and see how it goes. If you guys are a fan of the deck, you can check out the Cardboard Live functionality. I'll just show it on screen so you can actually look at all the cards in the sideboard and in the side sort of element, which is very cool. And if you're a fan of Green White Maverick, definitely check out the Green Sun Zenith, which is a website that I put together. I think the last piece of writing that came up was last night. It's an interview with Dan Neely, who's a Green White advocate. But yeah, definitely check out that if you're keen for any cards online. Check out Card Hoarder. I do have an affiliate with them, so I have a link below where you can help out the channel by buying cards through that link. And then of course with MTG Mate, which is pretty awesome, you can get 5% off singles if you live in Australia with any order that you make through MTG Mate with the code DUGES, which is very cool. So that is pretty alright. I'm a big fan of having Zealous Persecution in the deck, so it's going to be interesting to try out just the green-white version where you don't have access to that. I think that Maverick does have a bit of an issue against go-wide strategies, so it's going to be interesting to see how we deal with those. Cards like Young Pyromancer, True Name Nemesis, Elves, D&T with flyers can be pretty rough, so the double up on Palace Jailer will definitely be tested, I believe, especially online where there's a lot of those decks in the meta. But hopefully we play against some decks like Miracles, Lands, Eldrazi, where Palace Jailer really shines. Baleful Strix as well is a bit of an issue with Palace Jailer. It's not really a card that you want to spend a removal spell on, but being a flyer, it does have that sort of air advantage of being pretty good. I kind of want to run Skylasher. I think Skylasher is pretty cool. It can't be countered by blue spells, I believe. It also has protection from blue, so Baleful Strix and Delver can't really do much in the face of Skylasher, which is pretty cool. It's kind of just mediocre 2-2 though. I think it's around 10 o'clock in the US, so hopefully we do get some games and don't have to wait in queues for too long. While we wait, it will be pretty cool to see some of the cards in Modern Horizons actually break into Legacy, hopefully. I really like Collector Oof, I think it's called. It's the Null Rod on a 2-2 creature. Here's our first match, which is really nice. I think that card's really good. It doesn't deal with cards like Chalice or Crucible or Ensnaring Bridge, but it does deal with the mana ramp of the Khan and Eldrazi decks, opposite equipment, our equipment of course, but I think it's really good. Especially as it is Green Sun's Zenithable. Won the die roll, which is nice, and this hand's pretty fantastic. I'm going to take a quick snip because I really like this hand. I will not be 1 second. We're going to get a Savannah and go for Noble Hierarch here. There's no real point getting the basic because we are going to most likely get this Noble Hierarch, which is nice, and it also just gives us a little bit less restriction later on in the game. If we got a Forest there and the Noble Hierarch died to like a Bolt, it'll turn off pretty much all our creatures next turn. And there's the Bolt, okay. If I draw a land here, I'm pretty happy to play Mum and Wasteland. That's pretty nice. So I'm going to go Wasteland first to play around Days. And just play Mum here. I could have forced the Stoneforge Mystic. I don't really want to run into Days. Can't really do anything here, so we're going to F6. Wasteland, okay. Just going to pass here. Pretty aggressive with that Wasteland there. It probably means I have quite a mana-intensive hand. Sorry, I sort of like a mana-flooded hand. Going for black here probably means I also have something like Deluge. Thoughtseize is going to be fine. Taking the swords probably leads me to believe they have something like Gurmag Angler, and maybe why they were so happy to be more aggressive with the Wastelands, because they can actually make use of their graveyard. So Wasteland adding a mana to their pool in a way, if they do have a payoff card like Gurmag Angler. I actually have a thought process as well. So End Stepper could get Dryad Arbor. Because if I draw into Gaia's Cradle, I get 3 mana, but of course that means it's only green mana, which is pretty rough. They're taking the Thalia, which is nice. It means that another Thalia to draw is a live draw later on. Scryb Ranger is not going to do it for me. We are running 23 lands, so pretty happy about that. It most likely means we're going to draw into a land pretty soon, I'd like to think. I'm just not sure if yet I should play around Stifle. I played around Delver. I played against Delver on Wednesday, and they had Stifle, so that can be pretty rough. Knight of Autumn, not really where we want to be in this matchup. Something like a land true name here would be pretty brutal as well. And it's gonna be a land true name, okay. Okay, a forest is pretty good. So a forest means that we can actually fetch up here just a plains to play around Wasteland a little bit. I think Stoneforge Mystic is really nice. So I believe I'm actually just going to hold up Scryb Ranger here. If Scryb Ranger survives a turn and actually comes down, it means we can hopefully, if we don't draw into a land, just replay this forest through Scryb Ranger's ability to draw into a third, to make a third mana. Thoughtseize, I'll definitely fire off the Scryb Ranger in response. It's going to survive, which is nice, but Thoughtseize here most likely taking Stoneforge Mystic. It is kind of my answer for the true name in sort of Fire and Ice, which is exactly what they're doing here. Quite interesting to be at life parity here. Noble Hierarch. They didn't have a daze for the Scryb Ranger, but I don't think that really matters. I think they most likely have some sort of daze or force. If we play the Knight of Reliquary here, it can come down as a 5/5, which is quite nice, so happy to attack first. Get in that point of damage and then untap the Scryb Ranger in our turn to return this forest. Floating mana, of course, first. So we'll float these, we'll then choose a Scryb Ranger returning the forest. Play the forest. Play Knight. See if it resolves. It's gonna get forced. Pitching a force, okay. So down to a 4-turn clock. We do have Knight of Autumn to gain us some life if we really want to play it as a 2/1. We also have Swords to Plowshares, so we can actually swords our own creature as well. Which might come up. Our opponent pondering off the Volcanic Island is interesting. But it looks like this might be a Gomag Angler, seeing how long it's taking to pay the cost. Which I don't mind. Scryb Ranger and Mum is pretty awesome because you get 2 activations of Mum. So if I get a block Gomag Angler with Mum giving pro black, if they respond with like a lightning bolt, I can actually untap the Mum and give pro red as well. Thalia doesn't do a whole lot here. What I can do is float some mana, play the Thalia, and then play the Noble Hierarch, and then attack for 2 in the air with Scryb Ranger. So I might do that. So I might float some mana. I'm not going to attack first because I want to attack with Exalted. I'm going to play Thalia first, and then play Noble Hierarch. Now I can attack in the air. Just an attack there is interesting. Teeg. So Teeg in this matchup really only stops Force, and if anything it stops us from casting Green Sun Zenith, so I'm not that keen to cast it here. If anything, I'm probably more happy to maybe attack first. Gonna untap this Noble Returning Forest. Play the Forest. Play Night of Autumn. Looks like they're brainstorming, which is going to be fine. You can see the power of Scryb Ranger in this match, even in the deck, just allowing us to make use of our mana even by not drawing a third land. Also giving added protection from Mother of Runes and more ability from Noble Hierarch. So here I can either gain life to kind of get out of bolt range, or I can just put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, which means I can actually attack with it into Gomag and trade profitably. I'm pretty happy to make this a threat, because now that it's also a swords target if I really need one. I could have played Gomag Angler there, but I don't want to die to just like bolt True Name. Sylvan Library is interesting. So I think here I'm going to force a pro black. Attack for 5. I think my opponent's bolting me. I just want to quickly see what's happening here. They are bolting me, okay. That's going to be fine. They go down to 4. And so now I have the option of actually doing some sort of shenanigans. So I get to white, green, and then Scryb Ranger, I want to untap Noble and Forest. Play the Forest. I can then cast Gaddock Teeg, so they can't force a will me. And now I can actually swords my own knight here. Going up to 8. And just passing turn. So what I didn't play around there was a second bolt, but I believe if they bolted me once, they would have bolted me before damage anyway. Now they're going down to 3, which is interesting, because that means that a creature with Exalted is just going to be lethal. Brainstorm, okay. Still going to attack in, which is interesting. Dread Horde, okay. Wasteland. Okay, so Wasteland actually does some pretty cool things here because I can take them off red mana. They're gonna float a red. That's fine. Now we're gonna see if we can switch phases. So what I want to do here is attack holding priority. Is it control? I think control is hold priority. Let me quickly. Yeah. I want to give pro red and pro black. So black first. And then untap Mum, return this forest. Tap, target, and give pro red. And then we just win with Exalted. Which is pretty sweet. So that was pretty tight. So we saw True Name. So we're taking out Palace Jailer straight away. We're definitely bringing in Council's Judgment. I also like Choke. And I also like Garruk. I'm not the biggest fan of Teeg in this matchup. Thalia is okay. I can probably take out the sort of Light and Shadow. Getting through Gomag isn't the biggest issue with Mum and Scryb Rangers. And I might even just take out something like a Ramunap. Although they are in Wasteland, so maybe instead I'll take out Knight of the Reliquary. I kind of want to keep him Knight of Autumn in case they play something like Bitter Blossom and I want to get rid of it. Cal, welcome to chat. We are currently in game 1, and we just got through Grixis Delver, so coming into sideboarding now for games 2. And I'm pretty happy with how this is looking. So let's go ahead with this. This hand's a little bit slow. It's got double library, which is nice, but if this is a Delver deck, then it doesn't look the greatest. I'm just going to quickly find my score sheet. Strain score, there we go. We currently 1-1. 0-0 in green white. Hopefully that updates. Nice. Cool. So I'm going to mulligan this. It's a lot of 2-drops, which is okay, but I'd rather have some sort of 1-drop in a Noble Hierarch or a removal spell in swords. This hand's okay. We'll keep this. A Savannah on top's perfect. Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I didn't update the score there. So Scalding Heart and Fetch most likely means something like Delver or Ponder first up. Ponder's actually great. A turn 1 Delver can be pretty scary. Methan, thank you very much for the follow. Let me know where you're from. What you play in Legacy. If you play Legacy, what your local scene's like. Happy here to force this mum into a daze. My only other play is Green Suns for Dryad Arbor, so pretty happy with this. It's gonna be days, that's fine. Rug Delver, nice. What do you think of Renin 6 in Rug Delver? I've seen Life in the Loam in Rug Delver sometimes, and I think Renin 6 is a pretty good sort of switch up for that. I mean, it's a 2-mana walker as well, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, I love 2 as well. I think it's a very cool card. Forest is nice. I'm pretty happy to play Forest and then just jam this Thalia. Brainstorm here most likely looking for Daze and to a lesser extent Force of Will. Maybe even just something like a Bolt. The one thing that kind of sucks about early dual lands and basics is that the Nut of the Reliquary right now is just a 2/2. I'd love it to come down as a 4/4 if possible. But if we get a Bolt here on the Thalia, it turns on this Wasteland, which is quite nice. Okay, so they're tapped out. So my options here are Green Suns for 1 or just play a Knight as a 2/2. I don't mind playing Knight as a 2/2. I can also actually hit their land as well. So I'm pretty keen to actually hit their mana. I think they only play probably 18 lands anyway. I could Green Suns for 1 here if I really wanted to. It would mean if they don't have a removal spell, I could trade with this. Because we already have 2 Knights in hand, I'm pretty happy to Green Suns here just for 1. I think the blowout here is something like Fork Bolt. That would be pretty huge. Thoughtseize takes a Knight. It does tap them out though, so the next one is coming down, which is nice. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what you're cutting for the 2 Ren. I'm not sure if you could cut Library for it. I think it fills the same area, but I think Library is just so good. Yeah, definitely. If you want to post your link in chat, you are most welcome to. You know what tax with Dreadhorde is interesting? Noble is pretty nice because it means we can actually attack through this this Dreadhorde. What this Knight also means is that they have to answer it, or else we can just start wastelanding them out of the game as well. It is only going to be a 3/3, but hopefully we get to live another turn with this Knight in play. And they're just going to concede, so just nothing for them really. So we are up a game, which is nice. So Grixis Delver. Interesting deck. A lot of blue-red right now playing Dreadhorde, but I really like Dreadhorde with the Thoughtseize and Inquisition package, which is really cool. On the play again, which is pretty nice. His hand's interesting. It's a turn 1 mum into a Stoneforge Mystic. The one thing about this hand is that if we're playing against fast combo, a turn 1 Karakas into mum into a turn 2 Wasteland and Stoneforge could really just tell our opponent we're on death and taxes and actually not give anything away about us being on Maverick. I'm not sure what my opponent's on. And the hand's pretty good. We just have to draw into a green source. And we do have a fair number of them in the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, which is pretty good. BStep22, 2, thank you very much for the follow. Let me know where you're from. What do you play in Legacy, if you play Legacy. I'm going to keep it. We're gonna see how it goes. A little bit risky with no green mana, but we do have a few good plays early on, which is nice. Windswept Heath, okay, so this could be some sort of mirror. Swords, interesting. So that makes me want to just play Stoneforge here and go and get sort of Light and Shadow. Could also get Jitte because it is castable, so if they deal with the Stoneforge Mystic, maybe Jitte is just better here. Yes, this looks like the mirror. Interesting. Savannah's a pretty great draw. So we can play Knight here if we really want to. I kind of like that. Swords is pretty nice. We do get to attack at least with this Noble Hierarch. Oh, is this Jailer? Jailer's pretty good. Verdant. So I don't mind Wasteland here, just to keep our mana a little bit more effective, and maybe just play the Scryb Ranger in the end of their turn. But yeah, double sword Palace Jail is pretty brutal. Thalia. So Thalia's not too bad because we have the Karakas. So I think here we definitely want to play Scryb Ranger. And then maybe even just fetch up Dryad Arbor here. So it's online next turn. Swords. So I'm pretty happy to attack first. Now I can even return Thalia. Oh, still in damage. Okay. And now we can just play Jitte. Could also Green Suns for 1 if we want. I kind of like Green Suns for 1, just to have a bit more blocking. However, I kind of want to keep up swords. This is actually pretty interesting. So I can go for another mana accelerant through Green Suns. I can also Swords their Hierarch. I'd also get Jitte down as well. I'm just trying to think how I can actually... I haven't played a land for turn. So I believe what I can do here is to untap Dryad Arbor, return Savannah, play Savannah, Swords this, play Jitte, draw a card on my end step. Knight's pretty good. Now if they have Jitte, I can block with Dryad Arbor and then return it to my hand before damage with Scryb Ranger, which is pretty awesome. It's actually quite interesting. They're at 15, but they only drew 1 card off the library. I think they definitely could have been more aggressive with library there. I think here I'm actually happy to trade, just to keep the creature off the field. Tracker's gonna be fine. Do they have a land? They do. Wasteland. Okay. Interesting. So they actually let me untap with it, which is pretty good for me. So now I can equip the Jitte. Yeah, they still have Thalia in hand. I'm pretty happy to kill this Tile Striker on site as well. I can even force this Wasteland if I want, by untapping this. Oh, I gotta float a mana first. Float a green. This kind of forces them to Wasteland. They probably want to use the Wasteland on the Karakas just to have a first striking creature, but taking care of the Dryad Arbor here seems pretty good as well. And yeah, they're going to hit it, which is fine with us because we get to replay this and just go and get like a Noble Hierarch. Yeah, Jitte on a flyer is really nice. And just this extra card draw as well. And they're just going to concede. Interesting. So sideboarding isn't too hard against the mirror. Thalia is pretty bad. Mainly because her taxing effect doesn't do a whole lot. Karakas is really good. If anything, it's just the first strike damage. That's okay. I really just like Council's Judgment. Add some extra removal. Garruk and Qasali Pridemage. Banishing Light's interesting, but I think this is I'm pretty happy with just this. Nice and simple. But yeah, you can definitely see there how I think the biggest strength right now of Maverick is just how consistent it is. And when you play Palace Jailer, you add in a really swingy element of the game, being the crown. So there my opponent was pretty much ahead, and then they lost the crown, and it just went pretty much downhill from there. So that's why I have been on green, white, black for a while, because it doesn't play Jailer, and it plays a lot of sort of sweeping effects and targeted removal. This hand's pretty good. It doesn't answer a turn 1 Mum, other than Council's Judgment, but not too unhappy about that. Noble Hierarch, okay. Savannah. I think here I'm happy just to fetch up a basic Plains to play around Wasteland a little bit, because they do have the mana acceleration, and just play this Mum. These games are usually grindy, so I'm pretty happy to play Horizon Canopy first. This is why Scryb Ranger is pretty cool, because you kind of just get a free turn 2 play with Scryb Ranger. So like a turn 2, this is a turn 2, which is pretty nuts. And where Zealous Persecution is just so good in the mirror, but unfortunately we don't have access to it. I think again here, I'm happy just to play Stoneforge off a basic. This also means next turn I can Council's Judgment that Mum away. Something like Gaea's Cradle here would be pretty insane, because it allows them to play the Jitte. They nearly can, even just with normal mana. They can untap the Noble Hierarch and return a land, so that's 2 mana, 3 mana. So close. Knight, okay. That's pretty good, because now we don't actually have... Council's Judgment makes good use of killing the Mum, but not the equipment right now. Sort of Light and Shadow. That doesn't do a whole lot either. This is quite rough, and really just for keeping a pretty slow hand. So the Judgment is great against Mother Runes right here. If I wait a turn for... Waiting a turn doesn't do much, and I can't even deal with the Jitte before it hits my creatures. So one thing what I should have done maybe, if I really wanted to play around Jitte, was play Scavenging Ooze instead of Stoneforge Mystic, so that here I could actually Council's Judgment away the Scryb Ranger, and then also have a white creature and a green creature to block with, so that one Mum couldn't allow a green creature to actually get through protected, which is just a kind of a play you see after you make your plays and once the game sort of prolongs. But I think here I just have to get rid of this Mum. The Knight getting Cradle as well is pretty brutal. The only thing I can think of is that if they do tap out all their mana for... Yeah, see, they can just get a Cradle here. around. Scryb Ranger is pretty good. And Teeg. Interesting that they kept Teeg in. Irish Visionary with the sub. Thank you very much. That is very cool. Where are you from? What do you play? What decks do you pilot? Are you actually from Ireland? The issue here as well is that I can't even attack him with Jitte because they can just give the Stoneforge Mystic neg 1, neg 1, where I just get a 0-1, so I'm going to concede this game. It's gone a little bit too far. The Scryb Ranger was just so powerful. Virginia, USA of Irish ascendancy, but not all of Visionary, if I'm being honest. What do you play in Virginia? What does Virginia have in regards to a legacy scene? I'm just going to run back the same list. This hand's not that great. No removal other than Plowshares is a little bit rough. I think I'm going to mulligan this. This hand's a little bit better. Northern Virginia has one of the best legacy scenes on Earth, actually. Very lucky. Oh, that's awesome. That's very cool. In Brisbane, we have a pretty good legacy event. Pretty good legacy crowd. A little bit dead right now, but yeah, usually it's pretty on fire. Maybe like 3 times a week with about 15 to 20 players in each group, which is cool. Scavenging Ooze can go to the library to the bottom because we're just going to Green Suns here anyway. High Tide and Team America were invented at the store where I play. Now that is very cool. I am a big fan of that. Green Suns as well, okay. Excuse. Nice, okay. So I have the ability here to Swords Knight. I kind of want to go after their white mana. You play Maverick nowadays and love my content, old Elves player and some Brog also. Well, thank you very much. That is very kind, but thankfully my content is really just a collaboration of the Maverick community. So what goes into it is really not just me, which is very cool. But glad to hear you're on Maverick, and we have a Maverick mirror here, which is pretty cool. I could have played the Thalia there, but I really like taking them off white. In this case, not hitting white, but sort of Light and Shadow is going to be interesting. It doesn't give pro from Scavenging Ooze, which is nice. And here we can still just keep going with the same sort of strategy of just keeping them off as much mana as possible. Feel too humble, I learned a lot watching you, Green Sun Zenith for life. Yeah, Green Sun Zenith is a sweet card. There's definitely points in time where I'm like, how is Green Sun's a legal card? Green Suns for looks to be 2. No, okay, just 1. Noble Hierarch, okay. Wasteland. We're gonna... we don't have anything to eat. I guess we can eat... Maybe they're Wasteland. This is getting really... I mean, that's all 4 Wastelands, I believe. We can attack with Thalia, which is great. We can hold back Scavenging Ooze for this sword. Yeah, Big Thalia seems great. I'm actually prepping for a Eternal Weekend down in Melbourne next week. And Sneak and Show has won it 3 times in a row. So I think it's really good right now, especially with the Ancient Tomb decks like Khan and Eldrazi as well. I don't think there's a reason to leave this Dryad Arbor in the bin. I might as well eat it now. But I think we'll pass back and see how this goes. Nearly winning with no lands in play, which is always pretty funny. Green Suns again. Okay. Does come in tapped. There's Cradle, which comes in tapped. We might just have the win here. 11, 12, 13, 14, 17, 18. So close. We can put him down to 1. Can we draw into Garruk? Oh. How can I win this? I can play a land for turn. I mean, putting them down to 1 is pretty good. We don't have any Wastelands left, I believe. I mean, we can draw a card and Garruk, which is pretty awesome. With Gaea's Cradle. And still get in for a good chunk of damage. I think I like that. So... Actually... Can't draw and cast Garruk. Yeah, because Cradle will actually only hit for... Yeah, because Dryad Arbor has to get sacked. So maybe I'll make a mana. Garruk's really good, so we're going to go for Garruk here. Go and get Cradle. 4 mana. So I can create a wolf, or I can just deal damage and take them off some mana, which I actually like taking them off some mana. And then I want to leave the Scavenging Ooze back, so they can't actually like attack and equip through with the Knight to kill the Garruk, but I think they're dead if they do that anyway, so... Doesn't flip the Garruk. Very true, very true. And we're going to get there. So, up against Maverick as well, which is cool. So, pretty nice start. Scryb Ranger wins on this board. Yeah, Scryb Ranger would win on that board. So pretty happy. Good start. Always nice to start out 2-0. 5-0 Dream Alive, Jitesh, you are correct, and welcome to the chat. Are you pretty keen for Eternal Weekend? Sadly, this hand is a little bit rough. I mean, if the top card is a green source, it's actually a great hand. But I'm not that keen to... I don't think it's the biggest keen as a bean. Yeah, I don't like to risk it. It's a one lander that can't really cast much. However, we get to cast turn 1 Mum, and if we top deck any land, we can cast Thalia and Stoneforge. If only that was a Savannah. Yeah, it's very true. I'm not sure what my opponent's on. I think I'm going to keep this just for the sake of trying out a hand like this and seeing how it evolves. So let's go with this. I usually like a 2 to 3 land hand. Scalding Tarn, okay. Scalding Tarn pass. Interesting. A 3-drop, okay. Not what we want to be, but we will see if we can take it. Grid GM, welcome. Thank you very much. Looking forward to Eternal Weekend next weekend. Should be good just to get down to Melbourne as well. Bolt the Mum, okay. So I'm going to assume a very slow... Ooh, that's not a great feeling. A very slow blue-red Delver deck. This is usually why you don't keep hands like this, but for the sake of testing, it is fine. Double fetch here probably just means True Name, which does pretty much turn off this Palace Jailer, which is rough. Green Suns, haha. Could be the new blue-red control deck. Yeah, definitely. I think I'm just gonna act like I'm on D&T for now. Plains. Interesting. So American. There's Jace. If they target us, yeah, I think we just concede here, just in case they see something like Maverick Viable on top. So that's why you don't keep a one-lander, especially when it's a Plains. But I'm glad we went through this demonstration of one-landers lose games. You're very correct. So Palace Jailer I just take straight away out, and I replace him for 2 Council's Judgments. Mainly for True Name, but also as a consideration for Jace. I don't mind the chokes, of course. Gaddock Teeg still seems okay. I can probably drop down on something like Swords to Plowshares. I saw the white source, so that might mean something like Stoneforge Mystic. So this could be some sort of American Blade. Ramunap I can probably take out. I don't think they're going to be playing... They're probably going to be playing a ton of basics. And I can probably bring in something like Banishing Light. Qasali Pridemage seems okay as well. I kind of like Pridemage over Scooze. And then I like bringing in Garruk over the Ramunap. So 6 for 6. Everything kind of still has its place in the deck, so... Pretty happy with this. Yeah, I definitely feel very naked without it. I mean, I'm so used to having Zealous Persecution that I hate playing against decks that can go wide. Or even True Name by itself. It feels a little bit wrong, but at the same time, I can definitely see why players go with Green-White. I mean, Dan nearly went 55-12 in May with Green-White. But yeah, once you're used to black, it's very hard to give it up. I mean, even Thoughtseize in this matchup seems really good. This is quite a land-heavy hand. The Canopy can be cycled, which is nice. But a turn 1 moment to turn 2 Stoneforge just seems quite good. It also means that whatever we draw into, we're going to be able to cast, which is nice. We don't have a hand of sort of 3 and 4 drops that it might take till turn 2 or 6 to get there. How do you feel about 2 Library and 2 Jailer? Isn't Narset everywhere? Yeah, Narset's definitely around. That's it's probably an understatement. I think a lot of people are testing it right now, but I haven't run into it personally too much, which is nice. Because we saw Bolt in game 1, I'm going to play the fetch land here and just go and get a basic, because I want to cast this Knight as a 4/4. So this allows me to draw into another fetch land and actually cast the Knight next turn as a 4/4. But yeah, I think that Fire and Ice is the best option here. And yeah, the Narset's definitely a consideration. Something like Tireless Tracker over the second Palace Jailer would be okay. Just because once you deal with the Narset, you still have those clues to crack. You haven't kind of lost the opportunity to go ahead and... Ooh. Batterskull. 1 second, I just have a call. Good, I am just... Cool, I'll see you guys We back. You can also crack on their turn. Yeah, that's very true. So if I haven't had any bad experiences yet against Narset. Garruk's interesting. I definitely want to play something this turn, and I think it's just the Knight. I kind of want to play around back to basics. I don't think they play it, but just for the sake of things, I'm just going to play the second Forest there. And we can definitely... can't really attack. I guess if we wanted to attack, we could have attacked pre-main phase to see if they would block. We might have something like a gut shot. But... Bulk into Bolt is probably pretty good. They're going to Ponder, okay. So they've already played their red mana, which is nice. It means that they can't Bolt this turn. But yeah, I really like 2 libraries. I really like 2 libraries because it's just a consistent amount to see it every game. Wasteland. Interesting. So I kind of have the ability here to Wasteland my opponent out. We could play Garruk here. I think I'm going to go after the Volk first. And then maybe play Garruk, and then just leave up Stoneforge Mystic and a Wolf. I'm just going to sack this, get a fetch land, and then fetch for a basic plains. Create a wolf. And just pass turn. Yeah, Collector, oof, the Null Rod man seems pretty cool, especially as a Green Sun's target, and especially as a 2/2 for 2, an actual hate bear, which I love. I love that it's not like a 2/1. It doesn't deal with Chalice, it doesn't deal with Ensnaring Bridge or Crucible of the Worlds, which could definitely be defining factors of why it doesn't see too much play, but it's pretty good against a lot of the Grim Monoliths and Aether Vials of the world, even equipment if you're behind. I think Maverick can really win without equipment. I actually played a 4-color version with Leovold and no Stoneforge Mystic package that Mark Kognick, Bara played with that seemed really good, that it could fit into really well as well. I think I might kill a Stoneforge here. Play Canopy. I'm gonna crack Canopy to see what I draw. Another land. And probably now just hold up Stoneforge Mystic with Sword of Fire and Ice. I could also Wasteland their Wasteland, but I might see what they do in their end step. I kind of want to keep them off Jace. So they're going to fetch, okay. Maybe something like Snapcaster into Plains, into Sword Plowshares. Brainstorm. Okay. The only issue with using Knight now is that it gets tapped. So if they get rid of Stoneforge Mystic, they also deal with my Garruk. So I'm pretty happy to actually just hold up what I have right now. Alright. Nothing. Interesting. There's a red mana, which doesn't mean much. There's no great attacks here either. Cradle. So I think here I might just... I kind of want to make a 2-2 right now. Oh, it's flipped, of course. Oh, I could also sack Stoneforge and go and get Knight of Autumn, which does mean they can return the Batterskull. Interesting. I think we'll go for the 1/1 right now. They can block and return if they really want to here. It does tap them out next turn. I really like Garruk because it just creates really annoying creatures and allows you to go wide. It does make Cradle a lot better, but in a deck without Tiles Tracker, Cradle doesn't do a whole lot. Snap Swords, okay. We might as well equip the sword to the Stoneforge Mystic. And pass back. I wonder if my opponent's stuck on maybe like double white for Council's Judgment or double blue for True Name or Jace. I was really contemplating playing Ghost Quarter in the deck because we are playing Ramunap, and there's a lot of basics online right now. Ghost Quarter also allows you to manipulate some of the attacks of... Double attack, interesting. We'll definitely block here. Maybe they have something like Disenchant for the sword. Okay, aware. Okay. That's fair. We're gonna trade everything here. Oh, what I can do here is actually play fetch land, fetch for Dryad Arbor, and then actually sack the Dryad Arbor for Night of Autumn to kill the Batterskull. Swords. Nola Gold, welcome. Raiding with a party of 235? Very cool, Jody. Huge thank you. So here we're going to... Yeah, sack Dryad Arbor. Get Night of Autumn. Play Night of Autumn. Does it hit? Ooh, that's pretty big. That is pretty big. Better sit up straight and use your Australian accent, mate. Oh, classic. For all you goons, welcome to Dukes on Twitch. We are currently up 2 games in this league against, in this Legacy League. Currently playing against what looks to be American Stoneblade. True Name here is definitely going to deal with this Garruk, which is a little bit annoying. McPeck10, thank you very much for the bits. It is currently Saturday afternoon in Australia. Not sure how many of you have been to Australia or are currently... Gideon. Okay, Gideon's going to be pretty good. Jody, what were you just playing? Bit of Legacy, maybe some Arena. I know Standard's pretty cool right now. Sort of Latin Shadow off the top. It's going down. That's a pretty good draw because it allows us to kill this Gideon. For those of you who have never seen my stream, my name is Dukes on Twitch. I actually just recently started up a website called The Green Sun Zenith from Maverick, so you can definitely check that out. I stream on Wednesday nights and Saturday mornings usually. Usually playing Maverick, but I play a few other Legacy decks, which is pretty cool. Seeing there's nearly 200 of you watching this, I'm going to do a giveaway between the next game and the 4th game. So if you are a follower of mine, and yeah, if you're a follower of mine, I'll do a follower giveaway, and I will give away a Celestial Colonnade. So if you're not a follower and you do like Legacy content, definitely have a think about following me. And yeah, we'll put together a giveaway for this between the next game. Stoneforge is pretty good. Eggy216, thank you very much for the follow. Sergeant Floyd, thank you very much for the follow. True Faith 1, thank you very much for the follow. Jitte, they're really nice because now this True Name on defense is going to do a whole lot of work. McPick10, a huge thank you. What do we draw? Karakas. Karakas doesn't do a whole lot here. And neither does attacking, which is quite rough. So I kind of just got to play a land and pass here. Sword and Light of Shadow, of course, not getting through True Name, which just kills the knight. Kind of want to hold up swords for now and just see what we hit. Outstare, thank you for the chat. For those of you guys who are following, definitely let me know what you play in Legacy, where you're from, what your local scene's like. It's always cool to hear of LGSs that have a lot of players. So one of my only outs coming up is something like Council's Judgment. We don't have another Night of Autumn, which is pretty rough, and this Jitte is a pretty good answer to any threats coming down. But yeah, this is looking pretty rough. We have a few small ways to win, but True Name's just so good against fair decks, and especially in a deck that doesn't run Zealous Persecution. It's going to be really rough. Northeast USA, aka the legacy capital of the world. Witend, you're probably not wrong there. You're probably not wrong. That actually makes a lot of sense. I've heard of a lot of players from up there. Yeah, these attacks are getting pretty brutal. You're a Merfolk player in Indiana? Keep up the Merfolk work. I think Merfolk's a really underrated deck, especially in a meta that currently having basics in your deck is really good. Windswept Heath. Windswept Heath allows me to get Dryad Arbor, which actually is in the bin, so I'm actually just going to concede here and take our first loss, sadly. How do I feel about the green splash going around at the moment? Because I'm so used to green, white, black, it's a little bit rough. But yeah, I think it just takes practice. I really like Zealous Persecution. I really like Thoughtseize. I really like Assassin's Trophy and Abrupt Decay. So there is a big difference between the decks. But for now, let's do this giveaway. So no matter where you're from, I'll definitely send this in the post at no expense. It is a Celestial Colonnade, so a bit of a modern staple. You will have to be a follower to win this. So if you're not a follower and you want to enter this, definitely give me a follow if that's cool on your behalf. Alright, so the giveaway is going to be... Let me just type it out. Celestial. Alright, so the giveaway is Celestial Lemonade. So if you're a follower and you want this Celestial Colonnade, definitely type Celestial Lemonade into the chat. And we will choose a winner very soon. Eminem Berry, thank you very much for the follow. That is more than appreciated. Polyritz Mick. Polyritz Mike? Apologies for the pronunciation, but thank you very much for the follow. That is a huge honor. Jitesh, we are currently at 463 followers, so getting closer to the 500. I'd love to get to the 500, especially with 188 people looking in on this stream, which is pretty sweet. Celestial Colonnade played in blue-white in Modern. I believe also blue-white-red control. Not too sure if it gets seen play anywhere else. It's a great cube card, and it's great in EDH. The Pillow Fortress, thank you very much. But yeah, just for you guys that are following, as I said, I stream on Wednesday nights at 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and then I stream on Saturday mornings or sometimes Sunday mornings around 9:45 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Mick Pick, a sub with Twitch Prime, a huge thank you. That is really cool. Yeah, Twitch Prime is sweet because you do get a free sub with Twitch Prime, and that means a lot, so thank you very much. You now get access to, I believe, some of the emotes, which is pretty cool. Some of these bad boys. I will give you guys another 30 seconds to put in Celestial Lemonade to the chat to win this Celestial Colonnade. It does look a little bit like it doesn't look like lemonade, but it's a sweet card. It's a very cool card. Yeah, so currently picking up our first loss against American Control, which yeah, True Name's a great card. We did keep a pretty mana heavy hand. It was a 5-lander with Mother of Runes and Stoneforge Mystic, but with a Horizon Canopy, so a little bit of getaway. It's almost midnight in the USA. Worth it to see the fairest of them all. Yeah, no. I think Maverick is one of the fairest decks in Legacy, and yeah, it's pretty fun to play. All right, let's call it. We're gonna give you 10 seconds to type in Celestial Lemonade into chat to win this Colonnade. Another 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. A huge congratulations to Kitsani Kara on the win of Celestial Colonnade. A huge thank you for everyone who's followed so far. Give me a private message and I'll send this away to you. Let's get on with this league. Nice. Thank you very much. Enjoy your Celestial Colonnade. I can ship it out on well, this afternoon. I can put it in the mail, which is very cool. But yeah, getting back to the Black Splash, I think the Black Splash against that matchup that we just lost to would have been really nice. Mainly for Thoughtseize and Zealous Persecution. Pooplets, thank you very much for the follow. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what you go for in Legacy. Zealous Persecution is a hell of a drug. That is very true. This sounds pretty sweet. Turn 1 Mum, we have a few higher curve creatures, but you know, 1 more land and we can cast them. Depending on what we're playing against, I'm pretty happy just to fetch up a basic Plains with this Windswept Heath. Just because we don't have any mana acceleration yet. I want to play around Wasteland and back to basics a little bit. Mox Diamond, okay, so it looks like a 4-color Loam or Lands deck. So Knight of Autumn, Knight of Reliquary, and Palace Jail are really good in this matchup. Gamble, okay, so going for land pretty fast. Tabernacle's pretty annoying. That's going to be a land that's going to really take over this game if we don't get mana out. However, Cradle is a great answer to it. So to play around Wasteland here, we'll just fetch up a Plains and start getting some creatures on board. No Loam yet for our opponent, but they'd gamble, so I'm going to assume they gambled for Loam, especially if they're playing Mox Diamond to get back these 3 lands. It makes pretty good sense what they're trying to achieve here. Alright, so upkeep, we will pay for this. We don't currently have a 2-mana card, so happy just to probably play the Forest here and pass. That means next turn we can even just use the Forest to pay for the Mum, play another Mum, and then play something like Cradle. Or at least play Cradle in the following turn. Black Splash is a crunch, but one I think is worth the occasional stumble. Yeah, you can sometimes play a match even where you just don't find the black mana. You do rely a little bit on Birds to Paradise as well. Main deck Sylvan Library is going to be really good for them. So here I'm happy to use the green. So what we can do here is play a fetch land and play another Mum. And then next turn we can actually pay for them with the 2 forests. Untap, play Cradle, and then play Knight with the Plains and Cradle. Yeah, for sure. Stable mana bases always win matchups, which is a pretty big part of Legacy, especially with Wasteland being really good right now against the Khan decks. Being able to play around some stuff is pretty sweet. I'm pretty happy to actually attack here with Mother Runes. These fetch lands also mean we can just play with basics the whole way, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, Dan Neely is definitely a big fan of green white and a big fan of just Maverick in general. I mean, it's a sweet, fair deck that has a real place in an unfair format, which you don't often see. You see, decks like Allies or Merfolk in Modern, which kind of just get chumped out by a lot of the more unfair decks that are just so fast and they can't really keep up. Alright, so here we can pay for both Mums. Play Cradle, and then just play this Knight. And then I'm pretty happy to actually attack here with a Mum. What I like about the Black Splash is that the universal nature of the answers it provides. Thoughtseize and Assassin's Trophy just hit pretty much everything. Yeah, definitely. They give you outs that green-white doesn't have. So there have been games where I've played green-white against a deck like even Grixis, where they've had say 3 Baleful Strix in play, and I just haven't had a way to really get rid of them. They just have the win. That's pretty good. I wasn't really keeping attention of this, but that's going to be game, which is pretty sad. But we didn't really have an answer anyway. The only other answer is to play Knight of Autumn and gain 4 life. But what do we want to sideboard out here? So I'm pretty happy to take out Teeg and probably the Thalias. I know they have answers in Karakas. What I really like are the Surgicals. The Qasali isn't too bad. I kind of just like the Tormod's Crypts. I don't think I really want anything else. Maybe it's Qasali. And then maybe it's a case of taking out something like Jitte. And just keeping in the swords because it makes all creatures threats, which is nice. So let's take out this. Bringing in the Graveyard Hate and also Qasali to hit things like Molten Vortex or Exploration, just to see how that goes. Yeah, Qasali taking out Exploration is pretty good. And just the Exalted as well can really provide an opportunity of getting in some extra damage that over time leads us towards victory. But if you are a Maverick player in chat, definitely let me know what version you play, maybe what you think some of the good or bad matchups are. I think Lance is a pretty good matchup. We have access to Wasteland at instant speed through another Reliquary. Palace Jailer seems great. They're probably bringing in some number of Tireless Tracker, so it's good to still have that removal suite in Swords to Plowshares and Palace Jailer. Ramunap Excavator seems great, especially if we're going for an early sort of race on Wastelands. This hand's fine. A turn 2 Sylvan Library is pretty good. They might have brought in something like Corrosion Grip. It also allows me to dig quite deep for something like Surgical or Tormod's Crypt, which are free to play, so pretty happy to lead with a Windswept Heath. And then just play a turn 2 Sylvan Library. After Sylvan, probably playing the Qasali and trying to blow up something. So Stoneforge Mystic can also set up something like sort of Fire and Ice to get our creatures attacking and with protection from something like Punishing Fire. The one thing I don't like about Tormod's Crypt as a piece of graveyard hate is that it shows your opponent that you have it coming, and it's not a lasting effect like Rest in Peace. So at least with Surgical and Fairy McCabe, you can play them hidden in hand. But Tormod's Crypt you have to play and then activate, and it only happens once. You really have to be key with holding it. Exploration, okay. Goats, thank you very much for the follow. Blast Zone, interesting, okay. Let me know where you're from, what you play in Legacy. Yeah. I think Upkeep I'll just fetch and get a Forest here. I don't really want to draw a Forest. Dryad Arbor, pretty close. Play Sylvan Library and pass. I don't want to play Pridemage until I have the mana up. I don't want them to Punishing Fire it. That would feel pretty bad, especially when it's one of my only outs to Exploration. You're from Australia and you're a blue-black Reanimator because you're filth. We're in Australia, if you don't mind me asking. And are you going to be at a Melbourne Eternal Weekend next weekend? Blue-black Reanimator, I like that. I think it's definitely the older type and style of Reanimator since Black-Red has come to fruition, but seems really good. My opponent does actually have up Crop Rotation Dark Depths, which is pretty good, pretty scary. But luckily we can hopefully draw into some hate. Scryb Ranger's a blocker. And okay, so that's really nothing. So I'm going to put back, and I'm going to pay 4 life for the Canopy. I kind of think I need to hold up Scryb Ranger here, and I want to fetch away that land on top. So I think here I'm just going to go for Windswept Heath pass and hold up Scryb Ranger. Hey, from the capital, nice. I know Angus and CBR MTG do a lot of good work in the capital. I've been wavering between green white and green white black. Personally, Thoughtseizes has not been all that amazing against combo, to be honest, but Zealous, Trophy, and Gaea have been super. Gaea is interesting. Gaea's a planeswalker that I tried out for a while, but I only had it as a 1 or 2 of, and I never really saw it. But it does look really good once you get it down. I'm gonna copy the Forest. I could return it here with Scryb Ranger if I wanted to. I'm trying to think why. I kind of like having all this mana, so maybe next turn I can just cast something like Palace Jailer, especially if they untap and play something like Tireless Tracker. But yeah, Thoughtseize can be a little bit lackluster, especially against Brainstorm decks. It can get a little bit awkward, but I'm still a big fan of it. It gives you that turn 1 interaction that Maverick kind of doesn't have a lot of. I'm gonna fetch here because we don't want to play into I think we'll just get another planes, just so we have access to Palace Jailer next turn. It's quite a weird game. Verdant on top. Still nothing. Okay. Let's go with put on top and pay 4 for the night. And I think again it's just going to be fetch and pass. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't tap out it. Unless they played something like Tireless Tracker, then I would be more inclined to. They might take up this Blast Zone. Maximus Chuggus, not only a great name, but a great friend. Thank you very much for the follow. Let me know where you're from. What you play in Legacy, where you play Legacy. I'm gonna take up Blast Zone. We can't do anything about that. The interesting as well thing about the Thespian stage being a forest means we can't Wasteland it. And it also means Pithy Needle, you have to name either forest or Thespian stage, which is pretty nuts. Another Grove, and we're just gonna fetch and pass back. Noble Hierarch, okay. Swords and Surgical, okay. I kind of like Swords here more than Surgical. We don't have any way to really play around anything, so I'm pretty happy to put on top, put the Surgical on top, draw the Swords, play the Canopy. Play the Knight? He does have Blast Zone on 3, but I'm pretty happy for him to pop it if he wants to, because it might lead to him loaming it back, and at least we have the Surgical on top. I kind of did keep Surgical. I just wanted to keep it on top of my library with this Horizon Canopy. And if I keep Surgical, it means that I can't draw into Swords. I don't have the mana for it. My opponent here thinking if they want to crack it or not. Looks like they will. That's going to be fine. I might just draw here. I don't want them to wasteland me in my upkeep and make me use a mana in my turn. So I'm happy to draw here and then untap with all my mana and be able to use it productively. We draw into Noble Hierarch. Probably just put back Savannah. Yeah, put back Savannah. Put back Hierarch. Play the fetch land. Probably just play Qasali here. I can hit Exploration, which is kind of nice. I don't really want to play anything else, so I'm pretty happy just to pass here. Crop rotation's fine. I think if they go for it, I'm pretty happy surgicaling the Dark Depths combo, because even though it doesn't take care of Loam, it takes care of one of their biggest win cons. Looks like they're just crop rotating into Taiga. They might Punishing Fire this Qasali. Oh, targeting me. Wow, okay. That's quite aggressive. I think here I might even just Surgical Air Punishing Fires. Oh, no! 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 They have the Groves! Ah, I'm such an idiot. That is such an idiot play. Ah. That is a punt. That is a big punt. Oh, I could have cancelled it. I could have cancelled it. It's because once you punt, you just got to go through with it. It might not feel great, but it's just the way the world works sometimes. That's really rough. I'm gonna copy the tiger. Okay. Double punts feels bad, mans. Yeah, it really does. It really does. That's classic. Sam the Man 68. Thank you very much for following me after I double punt. That means you are a true believer, and I thank you. There's Dark Depths, so that's pretty good. We will fetch here. Savannah. Untap. Mum. I kind of like Green Suns because you can go and get something like Scavenging Ooze and I can still hold up swords. Put on top, put on top. Can definitely attack first. I think here we'll just go like this. And then just pass turn. I know they have Grove where we can hold up a forest to eat out of the Reliquary to make it a 3/3. But yeah, I kind of just forgot the cancel was a thing. Okay. I'm going to target the screws, so let's go ahead and just eat 9. Which does of course mean the screws dies. I'm thinking if there was a way to play around it with Scryb Ranger. I could have maybe played the Scryb Ranger and bounced a forest, but I would have used the forest anyway to cast a Scryb Ranger, which is nuts. Yeah, that would have been great if the Dryad Arbor wasn't summoning sick, just for that extra points of damage. Surgical. I think I just want the Green Suns here. I don't want to pay too much because I don't want to get back into Punishing Fire range. Yeah, I definitely like getting a Knight online. Ramunap's interesting, but right now we don't have Wasteland, so I think Knight's just better here. So we're holding up both Qasali Pridemage activated ability and Swords of Plowshares. They're gonna hit me with Punishing Fire. I do have the option of end step Scryb Ranger, but it does turn off Qasali Pridemage, which is a little bit rough. So if I cast Scryb Ranger, they can just respond by actually killing the Qasali Pridemage. The new land that puts enchantments on top of your deck is interesting. I think if it's going in anything, it's probably lands. I don't think like Enchantress cares about it, but I'm not sure how much. I'm not sure how much lands really cares about losing their enchantments. They're just gonna pass, okay. Another Green Suns. Thalia is interesting. Put on top, put on top. Don't mind just attacking here for 8. Thalia's been really good. It definitely won us a game against Maverick. And I'm really just playing it because I kind of feel like the meta's kind of shifted towards it being pretty good. Especially with the amount of Khan decks online. And because it's something you can actually save as well, with Karakas, it's pretty good. So they're going ahead and copy Dark Depths now. So I'm going to let that resolve. And then here I can play Scryb Ranger. I don't know if this works because they have the other Thespian stage. But I can untap Knight here and get a Wasteland. Let's return a Forest. And then I might as well sack this Savannah because it's a Wasteland target anyway. I could also just get Karakas. I'm not sure if I get a Wasteland and target the Thespian stage Dark Depths if that other Thespian stage can actually target it. So Karakas just works either way. Yeah, I like Karakas more as well. So that's going to resolve. Unless they crop rotate. They could crop rotate. Oh no, because crop rotate for Wasteland comes in tapped. This also means we can save the sword for our own creature to see if they go for something like just punching fires to the face. We can actually survive by killing our own. So Thalia there really just kind of saved the day. They're going to fire us. And get it back. And then it's going to concede. Okay, so we go to game 3. Do I want to change anything? I don't think I do. I'm pretty happy with how everything turned out. Let's just go back. This hand's really just nothing, especially against a fast Loam start. It doesn't really do anything. So I'm pretty happy to actually send this back. Maybe try to get some sort of graveyard hate in the opening hand. This hand's pretty poor as well, but it does have some interactions that I like, so I'm pretty happy to keep this. We are jamming green-white, John. We are currently up 2 matches to 1, and we're currently 1-1 against lands. We're going to keep this. Stoneforge can go to the bottom. So we'll see how this turns out. We don't have... Yeah, I think it's better than 5 as well. It doesn't have any turn 1 interaction or something like Surgical or Tormod's Crypt, but... Swords. Okay, so that's relevant. Because of the Rishon and Port, I'm just going to play a Heath here and pass. Green White's been okay. I've definitely missed Zealous Persecution and Thoughtseize, John, but yeah, the deck has been really fun to play. I mean, that's not... that's pretty big underestimation. I mean, Maverick's always fun to play, let's be honest. Blasto Mazavith, okay. So I don't really want to get a Dryad Arbor here because they can just tap it down. I'd rather see if they do anything in their upkeep. Wasteland. So I can go after their only green source here. I actually kind of just like land pass here with Scryb Ranger. Yeah, they could just draw. They might even just tap us down in our end step. Interesting. We'll definitely fetch. We'll just get a forest. Maybe they're trying to get like a Wasteland out of me, so now they can Wasteland me off the Savannah, but with Scryb Ranger they can't, which is awesome. So if they want to play around that, they have to tap us down at another stage. Stoneforge. I mean, if they have crop rotation, they just win here. Unless they have... they need removal for the Ranger as well. I think Thalia is probably best here. Knight to 3/3. I'm gonna go Cradle. Yeah. There's no real point attacking here because of the maze. Please untap. Please untap. The interview is already up, so you can find that on... I'll post you the link, actually. Ah, they have crop. I think it's fine unless they have some sort of removal effect in hand for the Scryb Ranger. I mean, they need a red mana and... oh yeah, red mana comes in tap, that's very true. They're doing something. Maybe a loam? Loam's fine. Did they get back Wasteland? Richard and Port, okay. If they go back Wasteland, I'll definitely try to Scryb Ranger this white source back to my hand before they got a chance to actually Wasteland it. Yeah, they could have Seji, but they didn't, which is great for us. So Karakas off the top would be nice. It would allow us to have a clean answer to Thalia. Sorry, to Duck Depths. Wasteland doesn't do a whole lot. Yeah, I don't mind Wasteland in the Canopy here, so I definitely want to Swords this, sadly. Get that off the table. I can then take them off green. And the race begins. Well, we've got an 11-turn clock. And I mean, if they port us off Savannah, I guess we can waste their port, but the Maze of Ith as well is going to be pretty rough. They also just have another Dark Depths. But not playing around Wasteland, interesting. If anything, they're only playing around Karakas. So they're going to copy now, okay. Screws. Screws can get us up a little bit. Screws can get us to 20. Oh, yeah, I can't even get Jitte. Because there's only one creature and no creatures. So I can play Screws and then have 2 mana, but I only go to 20. I think that's just good games. Because there's no way to do anything. I can play the Screws, I can go to 20 life. Maverick List attacks next turn, yeah. Unfortunate, but the 3/2 Dream is alive. Yeah, Dark Depth's just too good. Just too good sometimes. So currently 2-2, had a pretty good start, and now we are back to just square, which is pretty rough because I did like how we were going, but that is Magic sometimes. We will hopefully finish on a high. That would be a great feeling. For those of you who enjoy Maverick and weren't here before, I have put together a site called Green Sun Zenith, which is pretty cool, which is based around everything Maverick. I have some interviews on there with Dan Neely, who's a pretty good, pretty much a master of green white Maverick, and also Mark Kognick Bahar, who actually did a 4-color deck with Leovold, which is really cool, which might even be a new standout once this new Null Rod creature comes out, because it wasn't playing a Stoneforge Mystic package and didn't really need it, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, if you want to have any resources for Maverick, it's definitely one of your best resources online. Oh yeah, the MTGO today was in Melbourne. Do you know how many players they got, Jack? Can we finish on a high? It would be nice. 2-3 just, especially after you go 2-0, it just feels really bad to go 2-3. I mean, it feels pretty bad to go 2-3 anytime, but that is just sometimes the outcomes for playing decks that may be a little bit too fair. If you want to catch any of my streams as well, they are on YouTube. I do have a YouTube channel, which you can find in my bio below, which is cool. There you can find all my part streams, and of course any coming up, which is awesome. A lot of standard players on right now. Not much legacy, so it's nice for you guys to come in. A huge thank you for watching my channel so far. Very cool to have 152 of you. I don't think I've ever broken 70, so a huge thank you to Jody for rating me, because that is pretty huge. Hi Breb, thank you very much for the follow. Let me know where you're from, what you play in Legacy. Breb, let me know where you're from, what you play in Legacy, what your local meta's like. I know around the US and even Europe, there's a lot of really good cities with really good communities. There was someone in chat the other day who said they had weeklies of like 40 players, which is pretty amazing. I think any player would love to have that sort of community around. Brisbane has a pretty good community. Right now there's a bit of a lull, but usually we play Legacy maybe 3 times a week in paper at 2 different stores with about 15 to 20 players at each event, which is cool. I mean, it's a sweet format, and usually with the format you get sort of the older crowd, so the community is really nice. We are on the play for game 1, which is awesome. And this is a sweet hand. Pretty happy to keep it. A little bit fair, but a turn 1 Noble never goes astray. Turn 1 Noble, turn 2 Stoneforge, turn 3 Palace Jailer seems pretty good. And then hopefully in their first turn we can find out what we want to go get with Stoneforge Mystic. Shul's cute. Just a forest is interesting. I think just a forest, I'm going to go and get Jitte. I mean, that Swords to Plowshares is pretty insane as well. Forest most likely means something pretty fair, and from that, it's going to be something like Elves, perhaps? You think this player is on lands? So because I have removal in Swords to Plowshares and Palace Jailer, I'm going to get Sword of Fire and Ice here, because Sword of Fire and Ice can deal with creatures pretty well, and it also gives my creatures protection from punishing fire. So I'm pretty happy to actually attack here and not hold up Swords to Plowshares. It could be the Maverick Mirror as well, which in that case as well, I like that I got Sword of Fire and Ice because it allows me to actually have a threat, whereas we do have a lot of removal in hand. I think this second land drop is going to tell me exactly what they're on, hopefully. That's a solid local setup you've got. I'm in Baltimore, MD, USA. We've got a few shops with weekly legacy nights that range from 12 to 30 or so. I'm just getting into the format after trading into some Tundras. I'm on Blue-White Stoneblade, looking to acquire the Volk for Jet Sky options. Blue-White Stoneblade is really strong. It took down the last GP. Yeah, I think it was a GP for sure. But a great beginner deck as well. Not saying that to like belittle the deck. I think it's just a great deck to actually learn from and also gain some really good power with. So here I'm actually pretty happy just to. I could just play Palace Jailer here. I could also play Sylvan Library and set up a Sword of Fire and Ice for the following turn. So what I want to do, I can't put in Sword of Fire and Ice and swing this turn. I don't really want to waste Palace Jailer for now. So I think I might just play my own Sylvan Library and then hold up Sword of Fire and Ice and Swords to Plowshares if it's relevant. I'm getting more a Maverick feel from this start. So having Palace Jailer actually hit a creature is going to be pretty good. Especially if it's one without an ETB effect, like Knight of Reliquary. And they're just going to concede, so that's quite interesting. The best part is we kind of sideboard pretty evenly. So Thalia comes out against lands and Maverick, so does Teeg. Qasali comes in against both. Council Judgment is where it probably gets a little bit iffy, and Garruk, but I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, that's a pretty simple change, just 4 cards for 4. I don't really want to change the deck too much because of course we don't know where our opponent's on, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, Blue-White Stoneblade, I think I have a big love for it. I try to stay away from blue decks, but Blue-White Stoneblade just has that kind of hate bear edge in a way where you have a card like True Name Nemesis, which can just pour in damage with equipment attached to it. You still have Stoneforge Mystic, you have Jason, a few other Planeswalkers to really pressure the sort of mid to late game. You have Permission in Force of Will, which is sweet. What do I think of the new Blue-White Hate Bear? I don't know. I think there's been a few good Blue-White like cards printed over the past year or two, and I think there is like a Blue-White shell, but I don't think yet there's a real reason to break off like traditional mono white D&T and play Blue-White because you get this massive extra bonus of playing blue. I think you can definitely play Blue-White Taxes and still have a really solid list, but I think you'd be sort of scrambling for reasons as to why it's actually better than just normal Death and Taxes that has just got a really nice core and it's just so consistent. But Blue-White Taxes does seem sick, and there's a lot of cool cards you can play with. Like I think you put out a Salt Mine article with a Blue-White Taxes list. I think you played Stifle, which I'm not gonna comment on, but I believe you did have some Blue-White creatures in there. This hand's fine. I'm gonna keep this. We have some good removal and Souls Plowshares. Knight's a pretty good payoff card. And it is gonna be lands. Interesting. So we didn't bring in Surgicals? Gamble. Most likely just going for Loam here. We do have Scavenging Ooze as our graveyard hate. Land. I think here we just go for a basic, and then just go basic into Knight. It means the Knight's a 3/3, which is nice. It can't be punishing fired. We didn't bring in the Tormod's Crypts or the Surgicals, so that's the biggest error. We brought in the Council's Judgments instead, which it could pay off quite well. I mean, if they go for Maverick List in our turn to maybe block something, and then we get to actually Council's Judgment it away instead of letting them gain 20, we could have something on our hands, but this is going to be rough. Oh, a Ghost Quarter as well. Windswept Heath. So I might just play a Windswept here, just to play around and sort of Ghost Quarter a little bit. I don't want to fetch a Plains and then get Ghost Quartered off it. They're going to Wasteland this, so I'm just going to sack and go and get a Plains. This might mean they actually Ghost Quarter this as well, and then loan back all 3 cards. Which is exactly what they're doing, so that's going to be fine. What they can do is loam, get back these 3, play Ghost Quarter, and Ghost Quarter our Plains again, and then we're going to get pretty stuck on mana. Although we do have 1 more in the deck. So getting down this Knight of the Reliquary is going to be pretty huge. But they're going to let it slide. I don't like that. I like keeping the pressure on and going after my mana. Because now we get to just play a big Knight. Yeah, very close to the lock. If they kept going with it, it definitely would have been. I don't know why they stopped. Now they need something like Maze. That's gonna be fine. That's gonna be fine. I wonder if they have Tabernacle and they can like Ghost Quarter me off and just get a Tabernacle down. That'd be pretty funny. Ghost got a Tabernacle? That'd be great. Ah, so close. Okay. No. I mean, we do get to play Forest into Hierarch, which is nice. I wonder if I want to go Savannah. No, I want to keep the white mana in my hand. I should have actually played the Savannah, because then next turn I have lethal if I wasteland my own Savannah. I can't thank you guys enough. 147 of you staying in and watching me the whole way through is pretty awesome. So a huge thank you to my viewers. After this game is sadly going to be the end of the stream, but if you do like my content, I would love you to follow me. Of course, if you want to subscribe, you are more than welcome to. You do get some sweet emotes. I'm also working on some emotes, which is very cool. But yes, thank you very much. Hopefully this ends well for me. The Ghost Quarter loan plan is kind of shut off. They're going for loan, okay. What are they thinking about? Ghost Quarter? I wonder if they have like a maybe crop rotation up for Umezawa or Glacial Chasm. Going after my mana. Interesting. Council's Judgment. We can put him, it's a 9/9. We can put him down to 1. Or put him down to 2. I mean, either way, we lose to Tabernacle. One just turns off fetch lands, which is nice, if it is relevant. Maybe something like Tireless Tracker. Ah, wow, I could have done that. Yeah, that was the win. That was the win. Wit's End. Ah, now I feel like an idiot, because that line was, yeah, very relevant, and that's the win. So hopefully they don't just have Tabernacle. We are a game up. We are a game up, so that's not too bad. But yeah, having the win there and just not seeing it. So Wit's End, thank you very much for pointing that out. Did not even think of that, and I really should have, because yeah, play Savannah, add a green, use Knight, sack it, get a fetch land, sack the fetch land, you now have an 11/11 Knight, get another source of color, cast Scryb Ranger, untap the Knight. Yeah, I'll have to be prepared for Masters next weekend, because that's a play that I probably should know about. Do we have any fetches? We definitely do. We definitely do. We've only used Windswept Heath twice. So we have 2 other Windswept Heaths and 3 Verdant Catacombs. Ah, interesting. Yeah, we definitely have 2 more Savannahs in the deck. Because, actually, we have 1 more Savannah in the deck. Luckily. My opponent was tapped out as well, so they couldn't even interact with Wasteland on a Savannah. Which, to be fair, is part of the cost of Scryb Ranger anyway, so they couldn't have. OP is digging... Oh, he's disconnected. Okay, well... For now, we can at least chat about the matchup. Council's Judgment, obviously not a card you usually bring in. Which we will not do. Irish Visionary, thank you very much for coming in. A huge thank you. Ah, really? That's pretty annoying. But that is fine. But yeah, for those of you who want to check out some Legacy content, I actually recently put out an article with Dan Neely, who plays Green White Maverick. Pretty good at it. You can see that he's gone 53-12 last month in leagues, which is pretty sweet. But a lot of content, some pretty good insights. Definitely check it out if you have some time. Yeah, this kind of sucks if it is a timeout. How would you board for game 3 if there was one? I believe I would. Let me see my sideboard. So I'll definitely bring in the 2 Surgicals and the 2 Tormod's Crypts. I'll take out 2 Council's Judgments. I'll probably take out Jitte. Jitte isn't that great. Sword of Light and Shadow is okay, but I might even take out the Sword as well. What that leaves me with is 2 Stoneforge Mystics that don't do much with only 1 sort of Fire and Ice in the deck. Yeah, there we go. So I'd probably take out the Jitte, the Garruk, and the 2 Council's Judgments, and bring in my 4 pieces of hate in Surgical Extraction and Tormod's Crypts. Let's hope my opponent comes back. Because I want to play some Magic. Yeah, I think they're a bit matter intensive, and especially in D&T, you don't have answers to Exploration or other enchantments like you do in Qasali Pridemage or Night of Autumn. Where you at? Thank you very much for the follow. Let me know where you're from. What you play in Legacy, if you play Legacy. We are currently waiting on our opponent to come back from being disconnected. We have a good 30 minutes. It's fine. We'll play it out. But yeah, I think the black version against lands doesn't really have much of an upgrade. I think if anything, green-white is far superior because you have more basics. I've seen a lot of lands decks going towards Ghost Quarter over the additional Rishtred imports, which is really good. It's quite aggressive as well, which I like. Thoughtseize and Abrupt Decay and Assassin's Trophy aren't as great. I mean, they can deal with some permanents and stuff, but it's not really what you want to be doing against lands for the most part. Which is Zen, thank you very much for the league. Thanks for showing me the win. But yeah, have a great night, have a good weekend, and I'll see you next time. I wonder if my opponent's coming back. The Ghost Quarter and Wasteland Loam engine. There we go. Okay. So a 3-2 finish with Green White Maverick, we will open up this chest and see what's inside. Fire Drinker Seder. There we go. We got a player. We got a real legacy staple in mono red. It's not one. Rob Bartlett, welcome. Sadly, we just finished up. So we went 3-2 with Green White. A pretty tight loss against lands, and then also going down against Jeskai Blade. The deck felt pretty good. We didn't really bring in the Banishing Lights at all. We didn't play against Sneak and Show. I really do like the black version when we get access to Thoughtseize and Zealous Persecution. But of course the mana's a little bit more spiky than the green-white version where you have so many basics. But that is it. A huge thank you to you guys, 142 of you, that is amazing. If you do want to see my content again, definitely follow me and you'll get your activation when I do come online, which will be next... Oh, it won't even be next Wednesday night. I'm actually going down to Melbourne early, so I will not be on next weekend. But I'll be back the week after. So a huge thank you to you guys. A big congratulations to Kitsune, who won this Celestial Colonnade as a follower giveaway. Thank you guys very much. Enjoy your weekends. Jitesh, I'll see you in Melbourne. Will you make the Thursday weekly? I will not. I'm flying down on Thursday night, but with State of Origin on Wednesday night, I will not be streaming, unfortunately. I am actually going to raid. I think raiding is definitely something that I should be doing. I'm just not sure who to raid, so let's go for a little discover. Magonip. Magonip? Magognip? Thank you very much for the follow. Let me know where you are from. Freddy Knight Cube is interesting. I'm gonna come in here. Cheers, Cal. Let me quickly see if we can get you through to another. Raid.
It'll pick up. Oh wait, no it doesn't. This is the sad sign. Here we go.
I think that's it.
Corner shop.
Where'd your spanner go, Rob?
Here you go. Yeah, Anton. Hi, hi. Nani, no. Hi, hi. Oh no! Opponent's comboing off on us. Pack rats. Yeesh. Well, that's aggressive.
All right, that is the raid setup. A huge thank you guys. We will see you next time.
For us to deal.
Cheers.